been trying to achieve a fitness goal and you've been trying for years and years and setting New Year's resolutions, but every year you seem to not be able to follow through. And you tried every diet, every exercise routine, but for whatever reason, no matter what you try, it doesn't seem to work. Well, so yesterday I was talking to someone on a consultation, and he was telling me that he's been struggling with his fitness goals. And I asked him, why do you think you've been struggling for this long? And his answer was that he lacked discipline and he felt that he needed to try harder. Well, I want to tell you that discipline, willpower, trying harder don't actually work as much as most people think they do. So, to tell you, when I was a much younger guy, when I was in elementary school, any of you who know me from back then, I was always this quiet guy. Like, I literally never spoke. I never would say a word. And people would wonder, like, what's wrong with him? Like, why doesn't he speak? And think, that I had some devious plans going on in my brain. But I literally just didn't feel like I had anything to say. And I wanted to be able to be more confident in speaking, but for whatever reason, nothing really changed. I didn't really have any need to have to speak, so if I didn't have a need to speak, I just didn't speak. But so I ended up going to college and joined a fraternity, and in this fraternity, we did various activities to. One of the tenets of the fraternity is to be somebody who's welcoming to outsiders, to other people, because that's how you grow the fraternity, is by being friendly and being communicative to other people. So that was one of their tenets. And we did various challenges to make us more willing to be that kind of person. And so one of them was we had a fraternity song that we sang, and the challenge that new members had was we would learn the song together, and then we would go as a group, and the members of the fraternity would join us, and we would go to sing the song in front of a sorority. Also, when I heard that that was the challenge, like, I got super nervous because first off, I already wasn't big on talking, but now I'm gonna have to sing and sing in front of a sorority. So it's like there's so many layers of discomfort packed into that. But the members there, they were really supportive. They were like, yeah, we do this. Every single one of us has done this. We've done this every year, and they just they kind of created that energy. They even sang the song with us and got us to get really used to it. And so in the end, we did it. It was really uncomfortable, but in the end, we went through and did it. And so over the course of being in that fraternity, there were many challenges like that. And by the end of that semester, I was a much more communicative person. And in the next year, I was welcoming new members and going up to people and greeting them and that kind of stuff. All things that were never possible when I was, like, say, in elementary or middle school or even high school. But I completely transformed over that period of time. And so why did I tell you that story? Well, so in the first case, all throughout my time in school, I never really developed my ability to speak. And the reason why was because I didn't have a need. I didn't have anything pushing me to become better at speaking. But when I joined this fraternity, I was in a new environment, which completely shifted what was normal for me. It completely shifted what my baseline was, because everybody in that fraternity was welcoming and greeted everybody, and they said all of us have done this uncomfortable thing to get more comfortable at speaking. And so it became normal for me. And all of a sudden, this thing that all my life I struggled at, it all of a sudden became normal for me as well, to not only speak in public, but to sing in public. And so now I meet people and they think I'm an extrovert or something like that. But really, I'm still an introvert, still love my books, but It's just because of certain challenges and a new environment that completely transformed who I was. And so, going back to the example of somebody, if you're out there and you're struggling with your fitness goals and you've been struggling for years trying different various things, I want to submit to you that I don't believe that trying harder or discipline or willpower are really the problem. I think what may be the problem, or what may be something worth looking into, is how is your environment impacting you? Is your environment set up for you to succeed at your goals? Is there any way that you could change your environment to make it certain that you reach your goals? Is there certain people you could be around, certain groups that you could join, or certain things you can move around? Like one example, a lot of people, they'll take the ride home where they pass their gym, where they'll put their shoes beside them when they wake up if they want to go for a run. Or if you're talking about food, what kind of foods do you have in the house? Did you, when you went to the grocery store, did you get all of those unhealthy foods and put them in your house? So how can you change your environment to make success more guaranteed and make failure more difficult? And so with that example, peer pressure was the thing. And a lot of times people think peer pressure is bad, but you could actually use peer pressure to your advantage to do good things as well, not just bad things. You could use it in a productive way. And so if you join a group of like-minded people with similar goals, they'll peer pressure you to rise to another level. And it's kind of uncomfortable because it feels like people are better than you. But as it says in Proverbs, iron sharpens iron. So very quickly you start to rise to the level of their expectations instead of staying at the same level that you've been at, because you have your expectations. The people around you have those expectations of you which are lower. But if you get around people with higher expectations, all of a sudden your expectations rise to meet them instead of staying where they're at. And so these ideas I recently got from reading this book, Willpower Doesn't Work, by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And he talks about his own similar situation where for 5 years he was trying to become a writer. He had this desire in him to become a writer, but he lacked the initiative. He would never really get things going and get the traction. And so a lot of people would say, maybe you would need more discipline to become consistent and to change that, or try harder. And he was also a doctorate student, I believe, and he had a wife. And he had a full-time job. So he had a lot of things on his plate. And so a lot of people might say, lighten your load, you can't do too many things at once, or you just need to become more disciplined. But so what happened is he quickly adopted 3 children and instantly became a father of 3 little kids. And all of a sudden he has these hungry kids looking at him to feed them for food. And so all of a sudden he has to become a provider for not just him and his wife, but for 3 little kids. And taking on that load, taking on that extra burden, is what led him to getting the initiative to quit his job and actually become a successful writer. And within about 3 or 4 years, he was releasing this book, which is called Willpower Doesn't Work. And that just shows an example of, once again, if you change your environment, you're more likely to change. But if your environment stays the same, you don't really have anything that's pushing you. And so I would submit to you, is your environment making failure comfortable? And if so, how can you change your environment to make failure uncomfortable and make success your destiny? So yeah, I hope that all helps you out. I just read the book Willpower Doesn't Work by Dr. Benjamin Hardy, and I highly suggest that. And Atomic Habits also talks about similar concepts, so that's another good suggestion. But anyway, we'll see you guys again soon. Peace.